Riley, about you coming out to see my parents this weekend. Right now, my dad and everyone is out of the country, so the only person that'll be there is my mom. I hope that's all right with you.
Wait, so not even your siblings are going to be home then? I think if it's only going to be your mom, then maybe we should change plans to another day, right?
No, it'll be all right. My dad and older brother happen to love working a lot, actually. So they don't really ever have the time to see you. But with my mom, she's the one who's always home. So having her be the one to judge you is the best thing for everyone.
Is that so? But with it only being her there, I'm even more nervous for this weekend. I have to make sure that I make a good first impression, or else your mom might never like the idea of me being with you, Caleb.
You'll be totally fine, Riley. She might be a bit of a stickler at times, but as long as your impression on her this time is spot on, then you won't have to worry about yourself after. Just talk about all the good things about yourself, and listen to what she has to tell you, and you'll be just fine.
Listen to what she has to tell me? That's a bit scary. What's she going to say to me? Is she more strict than you're telling me?
You could say she's a bit scary. You could say that she's just very serious. You could also say she's just stubborn. I have talked with her before about who you are as a person, but she doesn't seem to care about what I had to say about you.
Are you kidding me?
I think she's a little bit worried about you coming from a single-parent household, with only your mom around, right? So, I'm thinking that when you see her this weekend, she's going to be bringing that up quite a lot. But don't let that startle you too much. As, like I said, she didn't seem to care about much else that I was telling her. As long as you can show that you're a good woman to her, I think she'll totally forget about you only having your mom around.
I'm only getting more worried now. I'm used to people being a bit judgmental of those who only ever had their mom around to raise them, but it doesn't mean that I like that kind of one-sided judgment. If your mom begins to go tough on me, you'll be there to soften things up for me, right?
Well, I'm going to be trying my best to support you. But I'm counting on you being able to show my mom how content you are. So, I think that'll all be fine. You want to get married to me as soon as possible, right? So, for the sake of our marriage, do your very best.
I don't want you ever coming around my family again, you poor woman. I will never give my son up to such a moneyless and desperate woman as you. Who did you think would allow you to be marrying my son of all people? I would like you to apologize to me first and foremost. That was not okay, pouring water all over me like that out of nowhere. But if I didn't do that, you would have never left me alone, right? So my only option was to pour that cold water all over you like that. Excuse me? Also, that happened to be some very fresh and natural mineral water that I threw on you, so you should be grateful for that. But I'm starting to think that I should have used toilet water or something on someone with your likes, considering it would suit your poor self better. Please do not ever say something like that to me again. And as for your reason of pouring water all over me like that, I have no words. Did I do something wrong by coming to your house to see you about marrying your son? All I did was walk through your front door and introduce myself. And then just like that, you were throwing water on me. Well, you just happened to be the poor little woman I imagined you to be, and that pissed me off. I had already heard from Caleb about how you only ever had one parent, but the way you even talked to me got my blood boiling. Really showed me just how incompetent your mother was at raising a child. I suppose not everyone is fit to be a parent, or even a wife at that. What? I heard all I needed to hear about you from Caleb already. He did say that you're employed at a rather large company and all, but you graduated from some small community college in the middle of nowhere. And I'm sure that's because you never had a father figure there to help raise you, right? Do you have a problem with me only ever having my mom around me growing up? I'm not sure if you've heard this yet, but my dad ended up passing away in a crash long ago. And ever since then, my mom has been raising me all on her own, but I'm not sure what the problem is with that. It is sad that things happened like that, which ended up leaving your mom as a single woman, but her never getting remarried has sealed your fate. Compared to the powerful family that I've raised my sons in, your little mother and daughter household is a disgrace. What about me only having my mom around to raise me is a disgrace, though? Oh, you already know what makes that a disgrace. As you can see with my family, my husband and I were able to raise kids that have all gone to very famous universities. And as of right now, everyone is a doctor. In other words, that means my family of doctors is all leagues above whatever moneyless and meaningless household your mother's raised you in, making you both disgraces. I think that's the perfect word to describe you guys with. If I may, I don't exactly remember you being a doctor yourself, Victoria. Caleb told me that all your life you've only ever been a housewife. This is not about me! It is very important for the mother to always be at home in order to raise such a respectable family. Now listen to me. What you should be very aware of after today is that my very wonderful son is never going to be allowed to marry some woman who comes from nothing besides poverty and sadness. I'm sure that someone like you is only wanting to marry him in order to get close to my family's money, right? You only want to be his wife because you know he makes so much money. You are wrong about that. The only reason that I want to be married to your son is because I love the man he is. Oh, absolutely not. You are not going to get away with such a weak lie as that. Let me just say that I've done my fair amount of research into you, and that means I know for a fact that you're the type of woman who is only after money when it comes to men. What do you mean, fair amount of research? I had to do my research since I'm the mother of a family filled with doctors. And from what I've learned, you're not even worth a second of my son's time. You may not think I know much about you, but a woman in her 50s like me is able to do anything and everything in order to preserve the purity of her kids. And that means spending days looking into all your social media accounts, finding everything I needed to know about you. What? And out of all those accounts, I found your Instagram to be the worst. It was filled with all these pictures of you standing around with all kinds of brand bags and clothing like you belonged to some rich family yourself. I knew from that moment that your only goal in life is to get as much money as possible from the men you find. That's the truth, right? I am so sorry, but I think that you've wasted your time. I don't even have an Instagram, so I'm not sure who you were looking at on there. If anything, I don't have any social media accounts at all. So who you were looking at was someone else. Stop lying to me. I know you're nothing more than a low-life, moneyless parasite. I was able to find out everything about you as the mother and wife of a doctors-only family. So there is no way on this holy earth that I've made a mistake about you. But I'm not kidding you. I don't have an Instagram account. Even now, you're not going to just confess to me that you only want Caleb for his money, huh? Well, so be it. All I want you to understand after today is that your marriage to Caleb will never happen and that you and him are nothing. The engagement is off. I will never allow you to be married to my son as long as I'm the mother of this household. You can't be serious. Can you please just listen to what I have to say? Also, could you please stop calling me some moneyless lowlife like that? Same with my mom, please. That's not something someone in as high of a position as you are should be saying about others. It's not fair to me, and you're beginning to get on my nerves now. Shut your mouth right now! I will not be talked to like that by some fatherless whore! You are never going to have that dream of being married to my wealthy son come true! Then I guess this is really it for Caleb and I. Good! And don't you ever come near my family again! It's a promise, then. I never thought that things would go this far south in such a short amount of time. But since you don't seem to want to listen to me, rather sticking to your thoughts of me only wanting money from your family, I'll grant your wish of never becoming your son's wife. As I don't want to have a mother-in-law like you either. Perfect! Now you go and tell Caleb that things are off and that you will never be seeing him again. And before you end things for good, you apologize to him for wasting his time, making him think he'd ever be allowed to marry low-life garbage like you. Hey, Caleb, you and I are no longer going to be getting married, and you and I being engaged is over with.
What?
Your mom doesn't seem to want us being married to each other at all. Her and I just finished up talking about a lot of things regarding myself, and it seems that she just does not want to listen to anything I have to say. And that's why the only option I have now is saying goodbye to you.
Wait, what do you mean you just finished talking with her? And she's not listening to anything you want to say? You shouldn't be saying anything to her at all. I told you before that all you have to do is listen to what she has to say. That's it. Jesus. Are you an idiot or something? Now you've gone and gotten our whole relationship ruined by talking back to her like that.
Don't you dare joke around with me. I am very upset with your mom right now over this, but you're the one I'm most pissed off with right now.
With me?
You watched as your mom poured water all over me as I walked into her house, and you didn't even bother to hand me a towel. All you did was stand in the corner laughing over what your mom was saying to me. Why did you not come to help me at all then?
Yo, you're asking me that? All I was doing was reading the air, for God's sake. My mom loves the hell out of me, so if I were to come to your aid at a time like that, she would have started to yell at me too.
I'm not going to listen to an excuse like that, Caleb. You watched as your fiancé got soaked in freezing cold water from head to toe, right? At a time like that, you should be coming to help me and warning your mom to stop that.
No, hold on. I did want to do something like that, all right? But as you could see after what she did, my mom is a very tough person to deal with, and is better to just be left alone, right?
My mom taught me something very important about relationships. She said that if the man I plan on marrying is caring about someone more than me, then he's not worth marrying at all. And that's why I agree with calling off our marriage now. I hate both your mom and you now.
Huh? Are you being serious right now, Riley? If you call off our marriage, that means you and I are breaking up, okay?
Yeah, and that's why I'm being serious about it. I don't want to force myself to be with you any longer, especially since now I can see you and I don't have a future together anymore. So I think ending everything between us right now is the most efficient way of saving our futures from being filled with sadness and hate. This is the best for both of us, all right?
What the hell? You should be happy that I chose you to become my wife. Yet you're telling me that you aren't happy being my fiancé anymore? What the hell is this? Stop it with all that BS right now. You can't talk to me like that when you're just a woman.
What did you just say to me?
I thought that you'd be the perfect fit for my wife. You don't look all too bad in terms of your figure, and you happen to work for a very good company. You even make a pretty penny there. But I thought that I could still best you because you come from a mother-only household and went to a community college. That's why I was fine with making you my wife. But now I can see you're nothing more than a back-talking, brain-dead whore.
Unbelievable. So that's how you've been thinking of me this whole time?
Well, of course it is. If it wasn't for your looks and that job of yours, no one would want to make you their wife. You were raised in a broken family, for crying out loud. But who cares now? Because things between you and I are over right now. After this, while you're crying and regretting saying such things as that to me, I want you to know that it's too late to come back to me.
And that's just fine. I'm not going to have any regrets about this.
Go ahead and try acting all strong and tough like that after today. you'll realize that you lost the one and only chance in your life to become a part of an elite family such as mine, and you'll regret it until the day you die. There are no other men in this world willing to marry a low-life woman like you. So you've lost at this game of life. Your days of dreaming about a life of luxury and happiness are over, as the one man with all that is saying goodbye to you now too.
Don't make me begin to laugh at your complete misunderstanding of the position that you're in.
Huh?
The only one here that's missed their once-in-a-lifetime chance is you, Caleb. You just let your one and only chance to marry such a fabulous woman as me slip through your fingers. So I hope you realize that later on when regret begins to build up.
Who the hell do you think you are? Fabulous woman? No fabulous woman comes from a fatherless family. Nice try there, Riley. But talking like that isn't going to ruin my mood any. I am far superior to you in every way, since I happen to be a very successful doctor. I happen to only be in my 20s, yet I'm already making $200,000 a year with my work.
You think that $200,000 a year is something to be proud of? I happen to be making multiple times that amount right now.
What? Making more than me? You are?
And that mom of mine that you guys seem to make fun of all the time is making even more than I am currently. So with all this money that the both of us are making, you're going to still make fun of my mom and I like that? Just because her and I don't happen to be doctors and I don't have a father around me.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're making that much more than me? And your mother is making even more than you? You are an office worker, and your mother has been single for years now.
That's right. I'm just some office worker. Just some office worker working for her mom's company. But even if I'm just an office worker, that doesn't mean I'm not important to her company. I am a director there after all.
A director? And wait, your mother's company? Your mother? She's the CEO of that company?
You've known about how I've been working for this pretty large company the whole time we've been together, right? Well, that company has actually been my mom's company this whole time.
Huh? So that makes you the CEO's daughter? And you'll probably become the next CEO of that company?
Well, that's what it looks like. But I'm not all that amazing when it comes to doing the work my mom can do, so I'm not really sure I will take over the company next. I think I'd rather let someone more experienced than me take the helm next, so you don't have to call me the upcoming CEO or anything like that. And I'm not sure my mom plans on giving me the company after her either.
What?
My mom happens to be a very serious woman when it comes down to her company, which means she's not going to let me have the easy road by just giving me the title of CEO next. Heck, to get where I am now, I had to study for years about the kind of work I'd have to do as a director and have all the qualifications as well. I even had to take a few tests within the company to get here, so I like to say that the position I'm at now was not handed to me, and neither would the position of CEO. Everyone within this company knows that this position wasn't just handed to me, and that's why I'm respected by everyone here.
But wait a second. You never said anything about any of that to me before. You never said that you're a director at your mother's company. And you never said anything about how your mom is the one running that large company either, did you?
And I guess I'll apologize to you for that. But my mom told me to never bring any of that up with men like you. She said all that information was to be kept to myself until after marriage. She said I'd only attract beggars by talking about my mom's situation and all that, so it was best for me to just stay quiet.
What?
My mom's been through a lot herself and wants to make sure that I'm okay when it comes to finding myself the right man. Actually, back in middle school, someone had learned about my mom being a CEO of a very large company, and after that, the news of it spread all over. I had to spend years with people always asking me for money and asking to come over to my house to play. So after I had finally graduated high school and escaped all of that, my mom made sure that I never said a word about her position again.
No way.
That's why I never really talk about my family or my work to anyone anymore, even if they are the people I love and care for. I really did love you a lot, and being your girlfriend and fiancé was some of the best memories I'll ever have. That's why I was totally fine making you my husband, and then after that, I'd tell you all the details about my mom and myself. But only months before we could get married, you showed me who you really are and let me see just the kind of monster your mother is as well. I guess I need to get better at figuring out which men are really men, if you know what I mean.
What is with you saying that about me? You're making it seem like I'm not a good man at all.
Well, you're not. You seem to think it's okay to pick on me for having only really been raised by my mom. And on top of that, when your own mother began to attack and tear into me, you just sat there laughing because you didn't want your mommy getting upset with you next. You are absolute trash when it comes to what men should be.
What?
Well, that's it from me. I hope that you can find yourself a proper woman for you next, who will be far more willing to take crap from your mother and not say a single thing in return. Is it really true that you're the daughter of a CEO? That your mother is the CEO of a company like that, and you're one of the directors there? I'm sure you already know the answer to that and don't need to be asking me anything. I mean, you're the mother and wife of a family of doctors, so you're able to find out just about anything and know that it's the truth. After looking at all my non-existent social media accounts, were you not able to learn that about me? Wait, that was... Pardon me, I didn't exactly mean to pick on you like that. I would never talk or post about that sort of stuff on social media had I made any accounts for you to snoop through. I don't have time to be doing any of that petty crap, nor do I want to. But I did find your accounts online. The accounts had your name on them, and the woman on Instagram looked just like you. Well, there were no pictures of your face on there, but I could tell immediately that the person in those posts was you. So you're not even going to accept that you were wrong this whole time? Well then, let me just tell you to make sure you look very closely at the names on those accounts. I'm sure that there have been accounts with my name on them, but if you take a good look, my last name is a bit different than theirs are. What? You might be thinking that Marshall is the same as Marshall. Ah! And when you take a look at the info on those accounts, they do not match the info that I would have, like the schools I've gone to and things like that. I went to a small college called Delta College back near my hometown. What the one account that I've found says is that they went to Harvard. Not only is the name wrong, but so is the school. Yet you still had full confidence thinking they were me. What is this? You think you can just mess with me like that? I'm sure you just put your name in incorrectly on Instagram to hide yourself. And you changed what school you went to Harvard to make yourself look better. I know all sorts of people do things like that online to make themselves look good. And I think that someone like you would do that all so that you could get closer to my son for his money. I see. I didn't know that was such a popular thing people did, since I don't use social media myself. You happen to know a lot about how people will change their names a little bit to hide who they really are and lie about the school they graduated from very well, don't you, Victoria? Perhaps that's because you used the same tactic to get with your husband? Excuse me? I actually went and took a look into you as well, Victoria. I happen to not be so good with that sort of stuff, though, so I hired someone who knows all about computers and social media to do the sifting through for me. You hired someone? A pro, to be precise. And from what they found, you happen to hold numerous accounts all over the internet. You have one where you fake being a woman in her early 20s that just graduated out of college. And another one where you act like you're working for a supermarket and can make all kinds of different meals using their produce. I also like the account you made where you act like you went and graduated from Harvard yourself, even though really you only came from a small trade school. To me, you seem to really love lying about yourself, all with the intent of getting people to like you. Well, why? Why do you know about all my accounts? And how did you figure out that I graduated from a trade school? I just had to ask a pro to help me out is all. Have you gone and told my son all of this yet? Does Caleb know about all of this? What merit is there to telling your son about all of this? All right, I am never going to make fun of yourself or your mother ever again. And if you're still wanting to get married to my son, you can go right ahead with it. So please, just keep yourself from telling any of the truth to my family, okay? I've already gone and broken up with Caleb, and I don't want to see his face anymore. So I'd really just like for you to use what's happened here today as a very good reason to never talk poorly about those who come from single-parent households ever again. One other thing. Can you send me the picture that was taken of me when you poured all that water on me? I would like to have it, please. Sure, I'll send it to you right now. Thank you very much. I'll be waiting for it to come.
Hey, I think it's close to the point where we've both calmed down quite a bit. Do you think we can both go out to eat together now? I'd like to talk with you again about getting married, Riley.
Why do you think it's important for either of us to be talking to one another anymore? You and I have broken up completely now and have nothing to do with one another anymore, right?
Don't say something as cold-hearted as that, all right? I won't let my mother ever say anything so rude to you again, and I'll always be there to help. So let's make up. I have learned a lot in the past couple of weeks, and I think you and I would make a very good married couple.
This is so strange. Were you always that brain dead, Caleb?
What?
Thinking that after all your mom said to me that there'd even be a small chance of us getting back together? You must have been lobotomized to think so carelessly about things now. Are you still able to do your job as a doctor when your frontal lobe is no longer intact?
Excuse me? You! I'm giving you the chance right now to get your life back on track with me.
You're not giving me any chances right now. Rather, you're just trying to play games with me. Who would ever want to get back together with a child like you? Would you like me to come over and pour freezing cold water all over your head?
What?
I'm going to block your number and then delete your information, so never try talking to me again, okay? Goodbye now.
Wait. You can at least come out to eat, right? Just come out and talk a little.
If I have the time to be doing something like that, I'll use it finding myself a real man. Have a good one, Caleb. After that, I started to get letters in the mail from Caleb and his family, giving their apologies for everything that happened. Even with his dad and siblings being overseas and having to do so much work as doctors, they all seemed very worried by what Caleb and his mother had done to me. But it wasn't as though his dad and siblings were asking me to get married to him, but rather they really wanted me to know how badly they felt for what he'd done to me. Saying that out of the whole family, he was the biggest failure because he'd never learned any other languages like they had, and wasn't even able to get all the proper certifications to be a real doctor. His dad also wrote to me saying that once he'd gotten home from his time overseas, he'd make sure to properly handle Caleb and set him straight. When it comes to Victoria, her husband found out about her accounts and how she misassumed me as being someone else. Therefore, he had her throw away her smartphone and gave her an old flip phone, which she'd have to use from now on so that she couldn't access any form of social media. But that wasn't all, as he made sure she couldn't use any more of his credit cards and would be handed $150 a month to use for herself instead. As of right now, both Caleb and Victoria have been living quietly, rarely ever doing anything besides sit at home and go out to do some tasks. And I'd like to assume that's all because of what Victoria's husband, Caleb's dad, had said to the both of them when he got back home.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.
When am I going to be getting my gifts from you? I have been waiting this whole time for you to message me or something about giving me my gifts, Ruby. What? Your gifts? You've heard about how Richard is moving up in the world at work, right? I thought it was pretty normal for a mom to want to give her son and his wife gifts after succeeding as much as he has. Things like a nice watch and jewelry, or maybe money to go out to a really fancy dinner. Is that not going to be coming to us or something? I've heard about him getting that promotion, but I'm sorry, Leah. My family's never been really that big on celebrating things like that, at least not with gifts. What? So you're telling me there are no presents or anything coming from you then? I've been waiting this whole time for something to come, though. I feel that Richard would be far more happy to get a gift from you for his success than from me. So please treat him to something nice as his wife. Huh? Why do I have to be the one to treat him to a gift? I've been the one supporting him day and night so that he could get that promotion. In other words, his success is the result of both our hard work. I should be getting treated to something for his success as well and not have to be the one treating him. What? This is why I want you to do something for once and treat us for our success. I've been waiting a long time now for you to send me some kind of a text about the presents we should be receiving. Excuse me? And one other thing. Could you hurry it up with the money we need to pay for our wedding? I have been waiting for you to get back to me about that for a long time now. I've already sent you the cost of the wedding and everything like that, so get to it and get that money over to us. Wait a second. What do you mean you want money from me for your guys' wedding as well? We were just talking about Richard's promotion and now we've jumped over to talking about your guys' wedding? You say we jumped to it like this came out of nowhere for you. Isn't it normal for you, the mother of Richard, to be the one helping us pay for his wedding? What? What is going on with these reactions of yours? Are you going to tell me now that this is also something you guys don't do in your family? Well, normally it's the husband and wife that'll end up paying for the wedding, right? I can totally agree with us paying a small portion of the wedding costs, but I will most certainly not be paying for the whole thing. Why not? This wedding is going to be the wedding of your oldest son, right? The wedding of the very important firstborn son of your family, right? Yet you're trying to tell me that you're not going to be paying for his whole wedding? This is very strange if you ask me. I can see what you're trying to get at there, but this family does not treat the firstborn any different from the rest of my children. And in this family, he doesn't get treated any better or raised any differently in the hopes he'll someday be taking over a family business. But it is a fact that Richard is the firstborn son of your household, right? Which means when you ever have a problem or something goes sideways, he's the first person you'll be relying on, right? Well, that's because he's family. We will get in touch with him whenever there's something we need. Then I think right now is the best time to show your thanks to us for the future of us always having to be there for you, don't you? If you don't start showing us how much you want our help, then expect for your future to not be as bright as you might be hoping. What was that? Now hurry it up and get that money ready for us. This is the wedding of your very important firstborn son, after all. Hey, Richard, have you and Leah really not saved up any money for your wedding? And that's why you and her were showing me how much the wedding would cost in total?
What? What are you talking about? I thought it was pretty obvious that I'd be paying for our wedding. If me, the groom, won't be the one paying for the wedding, then who will be?
What? Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. Wait, did you think me showing you the bill for the wedding meant that I was waiting for you guys to pay for it? Sorry about that, Mom. Leah had just been whining in my ear over and over about showing you how much the wedding would cost. So to get her to shut up, I went and showed you to the bill and all that.
Well, if that's the case, then okay. But are you really going to be able to pay for all of it? Because I was just told by Leah herself that she wanted me to start getting the money for the whole wedding prepared and sent over to her.
What? Leah said that to you?
Yeah, I was shocked when she told me that.
Wait. Leah doesn't have a reason to be saying something like that to you, right? What's going on with you, Mom?
What?
I plan on paying for the whole wedding myself, and Leah should already know about that. Yet you're now telling me She comes to you and asks that you pay for the whole wedding? There's something not quite right about that, Mom.
But I really did receive a text from her saying that. She thinks that because you're the oldest son in the family, your parents should be the one paying for your wedding. And she was saying that us paying for the wedding would be for your dad's and my future as well. Richard, please don't tell me you're not telling me the whole story here, and that you really are trying to get money from your dad and I right now?
I would never do something like that to you guys. And your guys' future? We aren't planning on ever moving in with you guys or anything then. So I'm not sure why you giving us money for the whole wedding means anything there. Even you and Dad want me living in my own separate house in the future, right?
Well, I hope that's the case then. But why would she bring something like that up with me when she should already be aware of your plans?
I'm not really sure myself, but perhaps it was something I said that made her a bit confused? Or maybe... could this be her feeling a bit nervous about getting married to me and all that? We are planning on having a very expensive wedding, so perhaps the cost of the wedding is making her worried about our future together?
According to that bill, it sure does seem like you two want to have one gorgeous and extravagant wedding. $80,000 for a wedding is almost 3 times as much as your dad and I spent on ours. We are both very surprised by that amount.
Oh, well, I might have gone a little overboard in order to impress Leia more. She has always been really good with her money and has saved up a lot in her life so far. When we'd go out on dates, she'd never ask that I pay all that much. And when it came to giving her presents, she never asked for anything all too expensive. When it came to her engagement ring, she told me to keep the price of it very low.
Wow, is that right?
So I'm starting to think that me asking for this huge wedding is a bit of a mistake on my part. Before she told me that we didn't even need to have a wedding or anything. But of course, I can't marry her and not give her a wedding. Also, I'm really looking forward to seeing her in a white wedding dress. I also told her that our parents would really look forward to us having a wedding, so we should be doing it for them as well. That at least got her feeling all right about us having this whole wedding.
No, wait a minute. You had to tell her that in order to get her to allow you two to have a wedding? You've made it look as though it's your dad and I that want you guys having this wedding, and less about what you both want? I can see now why she really wanted us to pay for it.
Wait, you think so? Oh. Well, I'm sure you guys really have been wanting me to have this wedding, right? You're going to be given the chance to see your son get married to a wonderful woman.
Well, of course we're happy about that.
Anyway, you and Dad don't have to worry about paying for anything, all right? You guys already know I'm making enough to pay for everything, no problem. So you can just ignore anything else Leah tells you.
I cannot believe that you guys didn't even give us a single penny for this wedding. What the hell is going on here, Ruby? What? Once the wedding was over, I went and looked inside that envelope you handed Richard. All you gave us was $10,000. Are you trying to make us feel bad or something? Even when not paying for the whole wedding like you should be, I expected at least $30,000 from you and your husband. This was the wedding of your firstborn, and this is how we're going to be treated? What is wrong with you? Now, could you please calm down there, Leah? That $10,000 was meant to be quite a lot from us two. Also, it seems that you are still a bit confused on what happened with your wedding, so I'll explain this again. In this family, my husband and I do not treat our firstborn kids differently from the rest of the kids. So please do not keep expecting us to give him some sort of special treatment or anything because of that. But this is your oldest's wedding, right? And he'll be the one getting everything from you guys later on, right? On the internet, it says that the firstborn son is always treated with the most respect in the family. That's why I assumed you guys would be paying for his whole wedding. What? At the start, I never wanted us to have a wedding. Richard kept going on about how he'd use his savings to pay for the whole thing, but we're already married, and that means his money is my money now. So even if he's willing to pay for the whole thing, it's my money that's being used to do so. But he told me that we had to have a wedding because you and your husband have really been looking forward to one. So I just assumed that you guys would be the ones paying for this whole wedding on our behalf. Then my money wouldn't have to be wasted on anything, and I could use it for myself. I can see there are a lot of things going on here. I think that the reason for all this confusion is due to you misunderstanding him. But also, you seem to think that all the money he made while single has become yours now? Also, that reason for thinking my husband and I should be paying for his whole wedding? Shut up! I'm not going to listen to some old hag nag me about any confusion when she didn't even fork over a single penny for the wedding. Did you just call me an old hag? I've had enough of this. Before today, you didn't give us anything to celebrate your son's promotion, and now you're not paying for any of the wedding. If you're just going to turn a blind eye to your firstborn son and his wife like that, then I'll be doing the same thing to you guys. He and I are now married, so we're not going to bother with you anymore. Don't expect us to ever be there for you guys in the future when you're both old and frail requiring our care, you old penny-pinching hag. So now you're calling me a penny-pinching old hag? You act very different when my son is not around to witness you. I'm not sure what about the way you act makes you the wonderful woman he always bragged about. Huh? You think I'm really that stupid to ever act like this in front of the man who thinks I'm calm and cute? The reason that I married him is because he likes me, and I like him. I never got married to him to try and impress you and your husband, all right? And so far, I can tell you're trying to do anything but impress me. I want presents, I want money. And I have every right to be asking that from you. I'm the wife of your very important firstborn son. That's why I ask all of that from you. I hear all the time about how the firstborn son is supposed to be treated the best by his parents. And of all my friends that are married to the firstborn son, they always go on and on about how wonderful life is being spoiled by their in-laws. Some of them even got their house from their in-laws or a brand new car. And that's why I was thinking by being married to Richard, I would be blessed with the exact same things. That's a rather presumptuous hope that you have there. I understand that there are families out there that favor their oldest son most over anyone else. But hearing his wife say that she wants that from us, his parents? Well, I'm not going to hope from that from you guys anymore, so relax. But because of that, I want you and your husband to never ask anything from us. I'm not going to care for you in your old age when you're going to keep on acting like the penny-pinching old hag that you are. Since this is all going so well, how about we both cut ties to you guys as well? Excuse me? Well, you and your husband don't seem to want to do anything for us anymore, so all you are now is in the way of our beautiful future as husband and wife. And I don't want to have to deal with either of you getting in the way of Richard and I when you're too old to go to the toilet yourselves. Caring for your old butt is a big N-O from me. I'm going to have us cut ties to your moneyless butts right away. Well, then Richard can say goodbye to that promotion he got. What? I completely understand now what you seem to think of my husband and I. I'm not sure where your values lie when it comes to being part of our family and his wife, but from what I heard you just say to me, you only want to be around his in-laws if they're willing to hand you everything on a silver platter. If that's all you're here for, then we'll cut ties to both of you as well. And us cutting ties to you both means that Richard will no longer get his promotion. Then we might even have him quit his job at the company. Huh? I have no idea what's going on now. What exactly are you trying to say to me that would make me think you could ever decide that for Richard? Well, I have the ability to talk to the CEO about this and have him take that promotion away. Huh? You can talk to the CEO? That's right. Do you understand what I'm talking about now then? I'm the CEO of the company he's working for after all, so I can just tell myself to take that promotion from him and boom, it's gone. So if we're cutting ties to one another here, then he doesn't need that pretty little promotion he was gifted. And I can't just have him work for my company any longer as my son if we're going to be cutting ties to one another like you said. So I'll have him leave his position in the company as well. Wait, what is all this? I I still cannot understand what's going on here. You're his CEO? Ruby and Richard works for you? Is that right? I never heard a single thing about this, though. I'm sure you haven't, Leah. And that's because Richard never wanted to tell anyone about it. What? Actually, in his past, he had his one girlfriend that ended up talking with him about all of this, and that turned her behavior from being a lover for him into being a lover for his money. He also told some of his friends about my position as a CEO, and soon after that, they would never stop asking to borrow money from him. That soon became a real problem for him. So when he entered my company and started working, he made sure not to say a thing about his situation to anyone. That's why even in the company, there's not a single person that knows about Richard being my son. What? Nobody knows about who he is then? When being hired by the company, he made sure to practice hard and take the same interviews as everyone else. And this promotion he just received a few weeks ago was also due to his own abilities and wasn't just handed to him over nothing. But that's too bad for him. All that work he put in was for nothing now because his wife wants for both his parents to leave him alone forever. Poor guy. I feel bad doing this to him, but I have no other choice now. You are the one pressuring for us to cut ties to you both, just like you want to do to us now. This is such an unfortunate turn of events for everyone involved. Wait. I didn't actually hear anything about this being a thing. I just wanted to be a good wife for Richard, yet I was never told all of this important information by anyone. I never knew he was the son of a CEO like you. I'd actually been wanting to tell you all about this for the past few months now. But Richard wanting things to stay a secret from you, and so I had no choice but to keep my mouth shut as well. I feel so bad about that, but he is your husband, and this is all what he wanted. There's no way. I'll make sure to go and talk with Richard about both him leaving the company for me and about how we're all going to be cutting ties to one another now. Now you and him live a wonderful life together as husband and wife for me, please. Wait, please. I think I might have misunderstood some things. I was just comparing what all my friends had to what I was getting, and it made me feel terrible. And, well, that led to me thinking of you as some penny-pinching old hag, and that's why we started to treat you so poorly. All right, I understand that. I happen to have lots of friends with mother-in-laws just like that as well. They're married to the firstborn son, and they get treated to all sorts of things by their in-laws. Even getting money from their in-laws whenever they ask for it. Right? And that's why I totally understand how you must have felt when you married my oldest son and became my daughter-in-law. But the way you acted out at me was both rude and childish. So I'm no longer going to sit around and take it from you. I can't anymore, actually. It's one thing for you to want this kind of treatment from his parents, but it's something completely different when you start to call me horrible names and threaten me with cutting ties to us. Right? You've really made me think twice about you now as my daughter-in-law. I hope you won't ask me to forgive you now after all those heartless things you've just been saying about me. I'll make sure that Richard is no longer working for me in the next few days. Have a wonderful day, Leah.
Thank you for coming to the wedding yesterday. Also, thank you for talking with me about all those things. I never thought that Leah would be saying such things to you behind my back. It's so hard for me to take in even now.
I can totally understand it's hard for you. You have been in love with her so much, and she was what you thought to be the one meant for you.
But even if it's hard for me to accept, it's a fact that she acted way too far out of line then. That's why I'll be handing in my 2 weeks' notice really soon here. I hope you make sure to handle all that then after for me.
Wow, you seem to be completely fine with what I'd wanted yesterday then. I thought you'd be against leaving the company and would instead divorce her in order to save your job.
Well, I'm partially to blame for all this as well. I was the one that pressured her into having the wedding by telling her you guys and my parents were really looking forward to one. Had it all been her fault, then maybe I'd be wanting a divorce right about now. Also, we only just had the wedding yesterday. I was actually wanting to find myself a new job in the next year or two, so this will make for the perfect chance to do just that.
What? You were thinking about leaving my company for another job?
While working for you, I've always been a bit worried about someone finding out that I'm your son and all that. Especially during this recent promotion, I was really worried someone would think I didn't obtain it with my own strength, and that there was something else at play. Really, I just think I'd feel better working somewhere else besides your company. I hate to say that because, in all honesty, I don't think it would be that big of a deal if people within the company found out I'm your son. But then again, I don't want to deal with all the hassle.
Richard.
So, with what's happened recently, I think I'll make this the perfect opportunity to leave your company. I'll find myself a new company to work for, and there I'll continue to work hard so that I can get back up to the same level I left your company at. I want to know that there is nobody within the company who thinks I was handed all my promotions. I think that alone will make work a lot more relaxing for me.
That's a very good thing to do then for yourself. I know that once you leave, I won't be able to watch your back anymore, but at the same time, you seem to be very responsible for yourself, so I know you'll be just fine. And of course, I never once handed you anything while you worked for me, so I have full confidence that you can work your way up in a new company in no time.
Thank you, Mom. I'll do my best. I just hope that after everything that's happened with you and Leah, you don't think of her as a complete witch. I've learned a lot about her bad habits now, but I know deep down she still has all those good things I love about her. So I'll make sure, as her husband, that she works harder to fix those habits and turn herself into an even better woman.
If that's what you want to do, then I support you fully. But that support will only come from my heart, as for the time being, I won't be coming anywhere near you and her. I am so sorry about what happened yesterday. After that, I had a lot to talk about with Richard, and he told me a bunch more. From what it sounds like, you really are the CEO of the company he's working for. I am so sorry for acting like such a reckless person yesterday without ever knowing a thing about you. You really don't have to apologize to me like that. After a good night's sleep last night, I have been able to move past what happened then and am totally okay now. Then that means the both of us can start working towards becoming really close as a family. We can completely forget about everything that went down, and both you and I can become really good friends. Oh my, is that what that's all about? I thought you saw no merit in being part of my family. Aren't I supposed to be that penny-pinching old hag that you continue to call me all the time? What? I might not be upset about what happened yesterday anymore, but that does not mean I'm just going to forget about it. I'm sure you might have different opinions now compared to yesterday, but we promised to cut ties to one another, and that's what's going to happen. Isn't that all you wanted from me when we finished our little conversation yesterday? You have to be kidding me, right? Can't we just forget about wanting to do any of that? I happen to be a CEO and have a lot of things to do with the company I run, so there's no time for me to be playing games with you or your feelings anymore. No, I'm really sorry that you feel that way about all that. I'll apologize to you in person for all that, okay? So please just forget I ever mentioned wanting us to cut ties. I can't do that anymore. I told you I don't have time for games, and right now what you're asking me to do is continue with your games. And I've already gone and started working on ending my son's position within the company. He was the one that handed me his 2-week notice just a little bit ago, so there's really no stopping it now. What? He's already handed you his 2-week notice? He was right on it after we talked. Let me tell you, even he had been wanting to leave my company, so there were no hard feelings. That's a lie. Why would he want to leave your company like that? If he does that, he's giving up any chance he had of becoming the next CEO after you leave, right? That means I'll never be able to become the wife of a successful CEO in the future then. He was never going to just become the next CEO after me, Leah. If he were to work even harder and show me that he wanted the position, then I'd totally be fine with him having it. But now that he's told me he had plans to leave the company for months now, I can see even he doesn't want to become the next CEO. And I'm totally okay with that, because I'd rather make someone from within my company the next CEO, as they're showing me they want to support this company with their everything. What should I do? I was thinking this was my chance to become the wife of a CEO, but because of what I've done, I've led my husband to leave his mother's company, forfeiting any chance he had at becoming this next CEO. You really did throw away your one and only chance. Please, allow me to get him to stay within your company instead of leaving it. Then will you please let him be the next CEO? If you can do that for me, then I'll make sure to be the best daughter-in-law you've ever had. No, thank you. I happen to be this really bad, penny-pinching old hag, so I would never accept even your most sincere apologies. Therefore, let that be my goodbye to you now. After that, Leah tried her hardest to both get Richard to stay within my company and to get me to turn back from wanting to cut ties to her. But then Richard told her one day to cut her crap and take responsibility for the words she'd said to me before. He told her that if she continued to try and get closer to me, that he'd divorce her, because he cannot trust a woman to be his wife who thinks they can just take their words back in an instant and change their attitude like she was trying to do. Following that, Leah stopped trying to fix the mess she created for herself and now cries day and night about losing her one and only chance to become the wife of a CEO. When it comes to Richard, he was able to find himself a new job in just a few weeks, although he won't be making nearly as much as he was before. However, the anxiety of being the son of the CEO was no longer bothering him there, and he was able to relax while doing his job.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.